everyone. It is Friday. Congratulations. You made it. Welcome back to the Friday Live with Lauren show. I'm Lauren, your host. And again, I have a wonderful guest on with me today. Every week I say that, but y'all, this week you are going to laugh harder on this show than I think you have ever laughed before, probably in your life. And yes, come at me if that's not true, because I really, really do think that this is going to be the episode where you all laugh so hard you share this with 5 of your friends. So speaking of sharing this, please share the show. LinkedIn doesn't always love me that much, and sometimes they don't tell the world that we are live. So can you share the show? Would you tell everybody that we are live right now? And please comment. Tell us where you are joining us from. Big shout out to Sindoso, our official gifting sponsor. I'll go ahead and drop all the giveaway stuff on the bottom now so you all can start tagging while I bring on our special guest. Amy, are you there?
Hello.
What's up, Amy?
Just
Y'all,
living a dream out here, Lauren. You know how I am.
we got Amy Miller in the house. We're going to do Who is Amy Miller? Let me switch us because it's going to make me big if I don't.
Okay.
Let's go really quick while y'all are telling us where you're from, all the things. Who is Amy Miller?
Well, depending on who you ask, you could get some very creative answers to this. So I am a recruiter. I've been a recruiter for 25 years. I'm now in the Seattle area and worked in big tech for the last decade or so. And I run my mouth a lot on the internet about all things recruiting and job search. I have no hobbies. I have no life outside of recruiting. This is what I do all day, every day, twice on Sunday. So that's me.
Twice on Sunday. Twice on Sunday.
And
No,
I
but that's
might actually be an ATS spot. That is TBD. So we'll see.
TBD. Maybe we'll determine that on this
We might.
episode. I think we're gonna get into it.
And I passed the Turing test. We shall see.
Oh, there we go. Okay, really quick, y'all. All the special things we are giving away today. You can tag Sindoso. We will pick 2 people to be entered to win the Sindoso grand prize drawing at the end of the month. Sindoso is a gifting platform, so I'm going to give you a $200 gifting experience of your very own. Steve won last month. He got to give 5 people individual personalized gifts. Courtesy of Sindoso, y'all, you can make someone's whole day. I know this, it's happened to me. And then the phenomenal Amy right there is going to give away 2 things today. You can enter to win some recruiting in yoga pants. That's what that stands for. Recruiting in yoga pants. Swag. And there's going to be a mentoring session that you can win. So tag those things in the comments and we are going to just get like right into the show because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. And the first topic I think is going to be one of the most interesting topics. Amy, get us started with recruiting.
Okay.
Start to finish in 10 minutes.
So the easiest way to frame your thinking about recruiting is we solve business problems through talent. We solve business problems through talent. I'm trying to make eye contact with y'all. Okay, I don't know if it's working. So that's like at the bare bottom minimum, right? And so what recruiters do is we partner, and I'm very big on using the word partner, not the word support. So if you ever catch me saying I support so and so, please smack me because I don't like that word. I like partner. So we partner with companies, hiring teams. It could be one-time exec search. It could be repeated hourly high volume hiring. There's lots of different ways that we do this problem solving, but we partner with companies to figure out what is the talent that you need to solve that problem. Are you trying to sell more widgets? Are you trying to build an airplane? Are you trying to do something completely different? And we as recruiters figure out how do we do that effectively, fairly, compliantly, and hopefully quickly with happy customers on both sides, both the hiring manager and our future new hire. What would you add, Lauren?
All of that, right? I think you hit the nail on the head. I think the biggest thing is the partner relationship. A lot of people don't
Yes.
understand that it really is a partner relationship. Sometimes I get new clients and I'm like, you do know I don't work for you as an
Yeah,
agency recruiter because what Amy and
exactly.
I do are a little bit different. We're going to talk about different kinds of recruiting, but when I get a new client, I very much do not work for you. I still work for me. I
Mhm.
you in a sense that I care about what you have going on in the same fashion that I care about what all of my other clients have going on, and you're all going to be equal in a sense, but I partner with you on the level that we work together to solve the problem, which is hiring, and mainly
Yes.
quickly and efficiently with really qualified talent. And by
Mhm.
working with an recruiter, you get to skip some of that um process in the beginning, that
Yeah.
minutia I like to call it,
Yeah.
of the back and forth that's realistically you don't need to do that most of
Exactly.
the time, manager. You don't. You need to be bigger picture and working in the day-to-day of your job.
It's so funny. There was we see this a lot, and I'm sure we'll get into more of, some of the fun things we hear about ourselves on social media. But I know gatekeeping has been a hot topic and really a frustrated word, right? That a lot of folks just, well, you're just gatekeepers and you're just keeping people from this, that, and the other thing. And I remember, and this is a fairly recent conversation, but I was recently having a conversation with a director, and I'm have hired hundreds of people for this man's team. I continue to hire hundreds more. We have a very good partnership. And we're in this conversation. He's like, you're the gatekeeper, right? Yeah, yeah, I get no, you are like, I need you to be the gatekeeper. And that's exactly it, Lauren. Like, we are that front line in some ways, protecting our hiring managers, protecting our organizations, our client companies, whatever, from some of the noise and some of the extra effort. And again, this is not in any way meant to reduce applicants or job seekers down to just a resume. I understand there's so much more to you than that, and I get it. But our function, our job, our responsibility is to find the right people at the right time and get them through those gates. I'm always trying to find the way to get you through the gate. That's my job. But am I a gatekeeper? According to my leadership.
And in the sense that we're a gatekeeper, you talk about protecting, right? I think we're
Mm.
really protecting their time.
Yes,
Time is the thing
100%.
that we can't get back. And for the most part, we don't know how to manage our time
Yeah.
properly. We don't. And even if we do, we get sidetracked. People need things, things come up. It's not always what we think it should be. So
Yeah,
having that opportunity to protect someone's time in and of itself is actually really rewarding as well.
it
Getting
is.
to know that I'm really supporting you, or you can go do a function where you're going to keep performing at a high level. I can perform
Yes.
at a high level. And now we have partnered in a way that things are just flowing. And when things move seamlessly and quickly, you'll never want to not partner with a recruiter. Excuse my double negative.
I gotta tell you, Lauren, one of the things, so in my role, I do a lot of reporting. I do a lot of high level strategy, headcount management, things like that, which is exciting. I like that stuff. I'm a data nerd. I love a good spreadsheet. But here's what I do. I turn those recruiting actions and that recruiting time spent into engineering hours. Your team is spending X engineering hours reviewing resumes. Your team spent X engineering hours interviewing candidates, resulting in Y number of hires. And we inspect and inspect and inspect and constantly look at, where are the gaps? Where is the time spent well? Where are we effective? What can we remove to make this more seamless for them and the hire and the candidates and the job seekers? But it's all about inspecting that time that we're using and labeling it what it is. I'm a full-time recruiter. My job is to be in here all day, every day doing this stuff. My engineers and my engineering leaders need to go build some really complicated stuff. My job is to protect their time and space so that they can do that effectively with the right people.
I love that. Amy, Amy, recruiting start to finish in 10 minutes. Y'all, it's been exactly 10 minutes since we started this show. Um, and you also moved us right into the next topic really, really well, I think, at the end of that. What recruiters know that hiring managers don't. Hiring managers on the call, I apologize in advance if you're offended, but I'm really glad you're watching because you need to hear this.
Gonna learn today.
Um,
No,
so I
Where
really
do we
think that you and
start?
I were speaking. We talk to a lot of
Mhm.
hiring managers, and
Yeah.
it's not that they don't know, but they don't know.
Yeah.
And that's another big part of how we partner with people and we support them, right? That's how we do this.
Sure.
Is that we supply some of these answers. So,
Yep.
Amy,
Yep.
take us away in what recruiters know that hiring managers don't.
I think one of the big overarching things that they don't know through no fault of their own is the complexity of recruiting. This stuff is not for the faint of heart, let me tell you. This is not easy. This is, especially if you're like us, Lauren, where you're visible and you're out there, like y'all don't even know what we go through. But there are so many complexities to the recruiting process. We don't just go grab candidates off a shelf ready to serve. We have to go and navigate the emotions and expectations and what I like to refer to as emotional currency on the other side. Yeah, you're a hiring manager and you've got an open role and that's great for you. But you know what? There's a whole personality on the other side of this that you have to convince that your opportunity is the right one in some cases. So a lot of the complexity is sometimes just lost on them. They haven't maybe had a chance to sit down and think through it. They've forgotten their own candidate journey when they were applying and getting hired. And then I think also a lot of the legalities and compliance complexities. Now, this is going to vary widely depending on the company, depending on the role, depending on the location. Like there are so many things that feed into that, but there are in most places some kind of boundaries. And a lot of hiring managers don't know that. And so I have to do a lot of just going back to like headcount management, which I've spent a lot of time on this week. I've had to be like, this is why this is this way. There's like a finance person up my you know, in my inbox. And so, they don't always understand the complexities or back office stuff that impacts our ability to present them great candidates.
100%. And also, especially on my end, we carry the emotional baggage of both sides.
Yes.
There is emotional baggage on the candidate end, but
So
there is
much.
so much emotional baggage on the hiring manager side. Sorry, y'all,
Hmm.
there is. You
Yeah.
get your feelings hurt more than anyone. You think your job is incredible. You think you're the best leader ever. Newsflash, every person I've ever got on the call with who's a leader tells me how they're the best leader ever and their team fucking loves them. Excuse me, whatever.
Yeah.
It's true.
She broke the seal.
It's just true. Everybody thinks they're the
Yes.
best. So I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Give me something more than that.
Yeah.
That is not the reason. And typically, I don't know if you're seeing this, Amy, but with a lot of my candidates right now, the ones who are getting to offer stage, they're getting to 2 or 3 offers at that
Oh,
point. They're not
100%.
just one offer and they need to, oh, please get your offer.
Oh my
What?
gosh.
We're not doing that anymore. This is like they have 3 offers and yours is hybrid and one is fully remote plus a little bit more money. They kind of like your company, but you really just want me to tell them that like you're cool, your team thinks so?
Mhm. Mhm. I'm gonna
Amy,
tell you, people tell me all the time how lucky I am to work in big tech.
why'd you
Because
do that the
everybody,
second I tried to sip of my water?
yeah, I just had to make you laugh right at the first time. But it's that's exactly right. Like with very, very few exceptions, even in this dumpster fire of an economy, most of my candidates have multiple offers by the time we get to the final stages. And so there is a sell, there is a coaching opportunity there with hiring managers to get on the call. Like, don't convince me. Of course, I think you're great. That's why I work with you. But you got to convince this candidate that we're trying to close, right? And so they need to be willing. That's another kind of educational piece for some of the folks that we both work with, I'm sure, is you're not the only game in town. You maybe don't have the sexiest project. You maybe didn't pitch this in the best possible way. So let's talk through, and again, for your betterment. Like I scare because I care. Okay. I want you to win. I want to maintain my 90% plus offer accept rate. Help me help you. Right. Like this is important. So, but yeah, your point about navigating the emotional baggage on both sides, people are going to spend their emotional currency where they think they're getting a payoff, where they think that it's invested wisely. And if you're not showing them you're investing wisely by coming to my team, you're missing an opportunity. So listen to your recruiters, friends.
Listen to your recruiters. Okay, what's the craziest thing you've ever had to explain to a hiring manager? Oh, I love it. There's the Stanley plug. I knew we were gonna get one.
Oh, yeah. My basic.
I got the Focus plug. You got the Stanley plug.
My son got it for me, and he's like, "Mom, this is the most basic white bitch thing you'll ever own, but I know you secretly want one."
I don't have one, so if
You're
anybody
right.
wants to send me a Stanley, the last time I posted my Venmo for margarita money, 2 people sent me money for margaritas. So, and the last time I was live and I talked about wanting beef jerky from Buc-ee's, Courtney shipped me beef jerky. Shout out Courtney from Buc-ee's. I have the best people who tune in and watch this show. Like y'all, if you tune in and you are
What am I
watching today,
doing wrong?
I just want you to know how much I really appreciate you all. Like this is the highlight of my week. We'll get back to talking about what hiring
I
managers
gotta
don't
figure
know.
out. I gotta like get a session with Lauren to learn how to do this because now I'm hungry. I want some beef jerky. So we need to sort this shit out offline, okay, girlfriend?
Okay.
So the
Hey, I got
craziest thing I think, oh man, on a hiring manager side or a candidate side or both.
you pick or both.
Okay, I have an interesting one that I think covers both. So had this is some time back, but had a situation where a gentleman candidate did not want to have a serious discussion about compensation. And I was like, cool, I don't care. I will give you a number and I will give you the same honest, true, complete, whole number repeatedly. And if you continue in this process, then you're agreeing that that number is worth considering at the end of it, should you be, approved through the offer process, right? Or interview process, whatever. And shared this with the hiring manager. And I'm like, I think we should just like not bother. Like I have, you get an instinct for these things, Lauren. Am I right? Like, which ones are going to go and which ones aren't going to go.
Yep.
And both of these individuals on both sides were like, no, this is fine. We'll just see the process through. Let's just see what happens. And so when we get to the end of it and I'm like, told ya, they're all like, oh, how did you know? I mean, I literally document everything. My screenshot folder's out of control. Like I told you this was happening. And so thankfully the manager, in his defense, he understood. I'm not the one that he's mad at. But that's the kind of thing, like they sometimes think on both sides of this equation, they sometimes think they know more than we do. But I've been doing this 25 years. You're going to be hard pressed to find somebody who's actually in recruiting who knows more than I do. There's a few out there. There's people I look up to that mentor me. But that is something I see play out over and over again. And there are times where you kind of have to just almost be like, trust me, bro. I am giving you this advice. I am making this suggestion. I am making this decision sometimes in spite of what you want me to do, because I know how this is going to play out. I have the data, I have the experience, I have the knowledge of, all of these things that's going to result in a bunch of time wasted. And it's interesting because now years later, I'm still in contact with this manager from time to time because we're friends. He's like, remember that guy? And it's like, I know, crazy story I tell all the time. But yeah, I think it just goes back to the importance of the partnership because we see some wacky stuff. And I've had managers have to learn the hard way. I guess I'll just put it that way.
It's unfortunate. I think a lot of
Yeah.
us have seen something similar to that. I know I definitely had a candidate once who was in the process. There were 3 candidates in for an interview. And in the middle of the interview process, it was 4 interviews, I remember. Like after interview 2, you get like, hold on, where's your prop? Where's your prop? You get like the red flag feeling. Yeah. Okay. So this was a hybrid role. And after the second interview, this person started asking me how soon this role could be fully remote.
Oh boy.
And they're only on the second interview. So I immediately start trying to sway my hiring manager to the other candidates because I'm sorry, this is not a remote role. They
where
were
this
very,
is
very
going.
specific. And you're going to push this. I know.
Yeah.
Guess who gets the job? Guess who 3 weeks in demands to be fully remote? Oh, Amy. And it's like you said, sometimes they have to learn the hard way.
It's hard. And that's why documentation is everything. We are not talking about this on the phone. You put that in Slack or an email because I need to save that screenshot for later.
need it in writing so I can tell you how wrong you were.
Just saying, with love, with love.
Growing up, the worst thing that you had to say in my family was when you had to tell somebody they were right. And when my mother was right and you had to tell her she was right, she would make you tell her 3 times out loud, "You were right, you were right, you were right." My whole life, it's like a thing now. Shout out, Mom. Hi,
Oh
Ellen. I know you're watching. But yeah, my whole life, anybody who's right and I tell them they're right, I tell them 3 times and
no. Oh
everybody
my
wonders why. That's
gosh.
why.
That's why.
Tastes
We're
like vinegar
conditioned.
each time. You're welcome.
I've had to say it to my husband like 2 or 3 times in 30 years, so I feel the pain. Yeah, it's
Oh my goodness.
like that.
Okay, I know that we're talking about the Sendoso giveaway, but I want to shout out
Yeah.
really quick. Amy, I'm gonna move us small. Y'all,
Yeah.
look at who already won. We already got some awesome winners. Let me stop this for 1 second. So, or not winners, I'm sorry. They're entered to win March. So it's a $200 gift. If you're selected, you go in the little 2 boxes that say to be selected, 315. On March 29th, we do the grand prize drawing of everybody who was selected. It is a random software that generates and picks people. So nobody come yelling at me that there's only men down there. That's not my fault. It's International Women's Month. I don't run that software. I didn't do that. I know somebody's going to be in my DMs in a
You
minute
know it.
yelling about it because y'all all have opinions, but they're like belly buttons. You're welcome. But yeah, so Tom, Kai, Derek, and Aaron. Aaron, I know you entered to win again today. You can't be entered twice, y'all. But tag Sendoso, hashtag Sendoso to be entered to win this drawing. Y'all, you could get a bottle of tequila engraved with your name on it.
What?
What? What? Did y'all just hear what I said? So yeah, y'all, enter to win. You can ship it to someone, but if I entered to win and I won, I would just keep the tequila for myself. Like I'm being very straightforward with you all. I
I
don't
might have
want
to
to
go
give
gift myself something. I'll just pay for it. I don't, pretend that it was a gift from me to
pretend
me.
that it was. Speaking of tequila, this is a little random, and I wasn't really planning to talk about this, but I just posted today a video. I did a collaboration with Joshua Bailey. We both were bartenders in the past, and we did a collaboration sales cocktail video. And you could go watch me throw a shaker tin up in the air and catch it and make a
Ooh,
cocktail. I posted it on my page. LinkedIn definitely hates me. Only like 8 of you
love
got
it.
notice of it. But
I'm gonna go
yeah,
find
there's
it.
a video of me from bartending over the weekend in my office. That is not my home kitchen. It's way too nice for that. Please don't look at
I
that.
was about to say recruiting's going well, eh?
Somebody commented and they were like, "That's the nicest kitchen" or something, and I was like,
Right.
"That's not my kitchen."
Why, thank you. I don't live here.
Okay, I also have to shout this out really quick. My sister's watching. Sister, tell them that we all had to say you were right 3 times.
We need confirmation.
Okay, Tom says that candidate tripped your free throw meter.
Yes, he did. Tom, I'm telling you, Peter, that's about what it was, my friend. I was like, sir, $500,000 doesn't do it for you. I gotta go. I gotta go learn to be an engineer. Is what I gotta do because you're turning down $500,000.
Literally.
Okay, yeah.
I know. I just signed a few law firms. We're recruiting for some legal roles, and some of the salaries are reaching out to people, and they're like, "Yeah," and I'm just like,
I mean, it's like, yeah. And then do you have those moments where you don't feel like you're smart enough to talk to these people? Like,
"Oh no,
hello, you have
no, I don't
seven
feel like that ever."
PhDs. Okay, see, I got to work on that because I'll be like, hi, you have 7 PhDs and I barely graduated high school. Let me tell you how to do this.
No, see, I don't feel like I'm dumb ever. I just know what I know and I know what I don't know. And I get on the call and I flat out tell people, I'm like, listen, this is your area of expertise. I have these things I need to know answers to. You are going to answer these questions. This
I
is how
love
this is
that.
going to go. I don't really care if you think I'm stupid for the questions I ask you. I don't do what you do every day. These are
Yeah.
the questions the hiring manager wants me to ask. Let's
Yeah,
go. We're going to connect in some other ways. And if you
I
think I
like
should
it.
have known the answer to that based on your resume, I'm not a mind reader. Oh, if you take away anything from the episode, that's the lesson of the day. Recruiters are not mind readers.
Facts.
Please no.
This is
Don't click
true.
on our page and think we're going to go look at your profile and think, oh my God, Sarah's the perfect candidate. Sorry if there's a Sarah watching. I just picked that name randomly. But like, we don't notice that you clicked on our profile and you want that role.
Yeah.
You ever notice that, Amy?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
No.
I get a lot of like, what do you have for me? And I'm like, um I don't know. Probably nothing you want. Because my immediate reaction is maybe not ideal. But yeah, no, we're not, and we do not have secret decoder rings. Those are not issued to us when we leave Hogwarts or recruiting school or whatever, because that doesn't exist. So yeah, help us. Like, just educate. Talk to me. Tell me like I'm 5. Explain your PhD and your 3 pages of patents like I'm 5. Like, if you can explain it to me, you can explain it to a hiring manager.
My mom gets offended sometimes, but I'm like, explain it to me like I'm a grandma. And my mom's like, I'm a grandma now. And I'm like, well, but that's literally what I tell candidates on the phone. I'm like, your grandma probably doesn't understand the day to day of
I
what you
love it.
did.
That's
And if
true.
I was your grandma, how would you explain to me what you do for
Just
work? Talk to
saying.
me like that.
I
And
did
if
have a
you,
hiring manager say that once, though, years and years and years ago. He said, Amy, if this candidate cannot explain it to you in a way that you, with your lack of technical knowledge in the nicest way, can understand, then they don't understand it. And it was such an eye opener for me. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to feel bad as much anymore, for not understanding as much. I'm still swimming in the imposter syndrome ocean from time to time, even after all these years. So, but that was really
sometimes I
helpful.
feel
It
pretty
really
bad.
framed, it framed my approach, and it framed my thinking that it's okay for me to be the expert in recruiting. That is my job here. I'm not supposed to be the expert in spacecraft hardware or telemetry data or whatever.
I'm supposed to be the expert in getting somebody through first screen to offer and then
Yes.
maintain that for
Yes.
hopefully a lot longer than 90 days. But my contract is
Absolutely.
90 days.
So at
So
least.
that's what we're shooting for. And I literally will tell you
Yeah.
on that first screening call, if you can't make it through, because I know how long the interview process is,
Yeah.
if you can't make it through this process plus 90 days, even if you
Mhm.
get there and hate your life, we can't move forward.
Yeah.
Tell me right now,
Yeah.
can you make it? Yes
Just
or no?
rip the
I'm not
Band-Aid off,
kidding.
friend.
90 days. You
Just
got
tell
90
me.
days? Now, don't get me wrong. There are things, and if something happened and it was horrible and you had to leave before 90, like there's
Sure.
always
Of
things, right? Like
course.
there's
Of
always
course. Yeah.
exceptions. But for the most part, you're gonna suck it up for 90 days, right? And I will also say the clients that I recruit for, I don't ever think I'd have to tell anybody that they'd have to suck it up for 90 days. Because I've placed
Yeah.
good people with these clients, so I know they're good. And I've had the privilege to fire a client this year when I
Yeah.
found out they were bad
Yeah.
because I work for myself. And as soon
Mhm.
as I find that
Mhm.
out, I can say, see ya, sayonara. We're not partnering together anymore because, as Amy
I love
said,
that.
we're going to bring it back. It's a partnership. It's a partnership.
Partnership. That's what's interesting. I love that you brought this up because very, very quick sidebar. Hopefully, I'm not screwing up our timeline.
You're
A
fine.
lot of people think corporate recruiters can't do that. Now, can I remove someone from payroll? No, I don't get to fire in that sense. Can I call your boss and explain why this recruiting partnership is not netting the results that we wanted and perhaps we need to rethink our strategy? Maybe. Now, thankfully, I've not had to do this for years, but I've done it. I've done it.
If we had to, we could. I always tell
If
people,
it's
I'm
that
like, I can put you
egregious.
into the interview and I can pull you out of it.
I mean, data don't lie.
I mean, it's just true. It's just true. But y'all also we'll talk in a little bit about different types of recruiters after the break. We are going to take a short break. Amy and I have been laughing a lot. I'd like to take a sip of my focus off camera. We're going to talk about the accountability group. If you have never heard of the accountability group, this is a 100% completely free group that I run. If you want to learn how to post on LinkedIn, if you don't know who to talk to, who would read your post, and you just want some support while you're getting started, join the accountability group. It is free. The website will pop up, and then we are going to bring on the phenomenal Michelle Craig for the best part of the show, in my opinion. High Five Friday. High five, Amy. High five, everyone watching. Michelle's going to come on. I think we have like 6 or 7 high fives due today because you guys are amazing. And I'm definitely going to post after the show the winner of the cookies from the high five. So be looking for that. But for now, me and Amy are going to take a short break, and I'm going to bring on Miss Michelle. Just one second.
What is up, everybody? Happy High Five Friday. Excited to be here as always, and even more excited because we had 7 submissions this week, which is a new record. So love to see y'all jumping in on the fun, shouting people out. So let's jump into it. Joy, known as the Joyful Recruiter, who was recently on the show, wants to give Kiva a high five. I would like to congratulate Shakiba Rosales, who accepted a new sales position at Netline. Kiva is a great addition to the dynamic team. I know she's going to contribute to the continued success of Netline. Erin Delaney, who is a big supporter of the show, we appreciate you, Erin, wants to give Virginia Maraza a high five. And then Leslie Douglas for Vicky Stefferson. Vicky's going to hate this limelight. Sorry, Vicky, but she deserves this high five and a million more. She's behind the scenes, always organized, always bringing data, always giving thoughtful and on-point feedback. One of the most amazing listeners and a phenomenal problem solver. I'm constantly in awe and admiration of her. And a bonus high five, high paw five for her doggo Bentley too. Josh Underwood wants to shout out Jeffrey Brewer. Jeffrey is a talented individual able to make things sound so clear. He's a great leader and always offers assistance even if he is busy. All right, we've got some more here. Stephanie Majors for Brittany Lenhart. This amazing woman throughout the course of this past year has become a true friend, a confidant, sounding board, and industry colleague. We connected on LinkedIn because both our personalities and perspectives align on almost all levels, and being introverts, it's hard to find someone that you align with like that. Tell me how rare it is to meet someone in life, let alone on LinkedIn, who you know from first meeting will always remain in your life, one way or another. She gets me without even trying. And for that, I am now and always will be grateful for her. That is very sweet. Then a Holly Berry for Zach Groves. Zach just got his first $1 million order. We get some snaps for Zach here. He's a new guy on our team and is crushing it. And then last but not least, I want to give Ben from Bronto a big shout out. He has been helping me with a ton of questions around Bronto, around matcha, and is honestly just like a fun person to chat with. So if you haven't, go give him a follow, go check out what they're working on, and have an amazing weekend. Thank you to everyone who gave us shout outs so we could celebrate with y'all.
Bye, Michelle. Thank you. All right, let's get Ms. Amy Miller here. Are y'all there? Are you watching? Do you like the high fives?
I love it.
Talking about how like LinkedIn is kind of sometimes a cesspool of negativity. I feel like some of the Twitter people came over. So we like to do the high fives on Friday, and we like to celebrate you. I post the link every week. If you want to celebrate someone in your network, you want to give them a high five, shout them out. If you want to celebrate yourself, if you did your own thing, if you want to celebrate that new company that hired you, I don't care. This is about you guys. Let's celebrate them. Let's celebrate you, and let's celebrate your wins. Huge shout out to Michelle for letting me hijack her High Five Fridays and bringing it to the show. Love you, Michelle. And fun fact, Michelle was my very, very first guest ever on the Friday Live Morning Show.
Love it. I think it's cool. We need more real positivity, not toxic positivity. Real positivity. I am here for it. Good
I
job,
love it.
Michelle. High
Good
five.
job, Michelle. Got a lot of comments in the thing. Somebody keeps asking if it's recorded. Yes. So this will play back. It will be on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and on Facebook. If you find me there, please don't go find me there. I only stream it there for my family. Like my Aunt Billy, who was watching in the comments. What's up, Aunt Billy? I got a very
Hey, Aunt
supportive
Billy.
family. My Aunt Cheryl is watching. I know. I love y'all.
Aw,
So y'all, I stream there for them. You don't need to go find me there. I'm fine with
that's
you just
awesome.
finding me on LinkedIn or YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, I'm going to drop this phenomenal, I'm backwards, this phenomenal humans YouTube in the chat for you guys if I can get there. This is when I hate producing the show and doing everything myself. But
Doing all
I'm
the
gonna
things.
drop her YouTube. Hold on, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. There, boom, in the chat. Okay, and now here we go. Right there. Go follow
Made
Amy
it
and
easy.
subscribe.
I
Subscribe.
couldn't
to
believe I
Amy.
got Amy Miller. I thought for sure it would have been taken by a more important Amy Miller, but hey.
You're the only important Amy Miller in my book.
Ah.
And that's all that matters. That's all that matters, y'all. Are you
All the
having fun? Are you laughing with us? Let us know in
I
the
am
comments.
y'all.
I'm
I
laughing
hope
her
you're all having fun because I am just this was the therapy session I needed. Like we were talking earlier, I am not having a good time this week. There's been a lot going on, and I am just so glad to be here with all of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
I love this. Okay, we're gonna get into an exciting topic. Y'all share the show. You know, everybody wants to know how y'all don't understand. You don't know. And that's
We do
okay.
work for the money, in case you were curious.
Just drop like the letter A if you are a recruiter and you think you understand this topic. You notice I'm going to tell half of the recruiters that they think they understand this topic. And Amy is really the expert in this, but y'all, there's different kinds of recruiters. We're going to preface this with that. But Amy, let's talk to the people about how do recruiters actually make money?
Yeah. So everything that we do and our paycheck, agency and corporate, is tied to one simple thing. Did I make successful placements? Did I actually hire people? So, agency, obviously, you're the expert in that. You know, it's based on, fees and specific hires, things like that. I am a corporate recruiter, so I get like a regular salary, but I get to keep coming back every month for that salary because I made placements last month. If I get to a point where I am no longer putting butts in seats, guess who's not getting paid anymore? So it is all about making placements.
Simple. Placements are what keeps the lights on, keeps
Yeah.
the revenue coming in. And in the same sense that placements matter. So corporate recruiters, like Amy says, they have a nice salary, right? Typically you get a
Mhm.
salary, but you have to perform. Like in
You have
any
to.
job, you have
Yeah.
KPIs where you have to go out and you have to perform.
100%.
I do a lot of sales recruiting. I talk to sellers. You guys got to make a lot of cold calls. If you're not making your cold calls, who doesn't get to keep their job because they're not hitting their KPIs?
Yep.
Recruiting is very similar. So it is a
Very.
little bit different in the sense that agency recruiters get paid from corporations after the candidate is in seat, right? And typically they're paid in the
Yep.
rears. That's the other thing. They're not normally paid in advance. If y'all are getting paid in advance, let me know. Let's chat. DM me. But we're typically paid in the rears unless you are a
Yeah.
retained recruiter. And we're paid a percentage of the base salary. It's typically not on bonuses and equity and all the extra stuff that you could get. Because let's be real, we don't know how you're going to perform this year. We get paid on your base salary. And if you fall off, it's called a fall off. If you resign from your role within the first, for me, it's a 90-day guarantee period. I don't know.
Yeah.
What typical guarantee periods do you see, Amy?
Yeah, 90-day was very common when I spent over a decade in agency as well, back in like the 90s and early aughts. And yeah, 90 days was pretty common. I've seen as many as 6 months, which is really stressful. I don't know that I've seen less than 90 days, except some very, very rare instances that were just traditionally high turnover, and it was still 30 days. So,
Yeah, there's always a
yeah.
guarantee period.
Mhm.
And that's why, like when I was talking earlier about how I'm very specific with my candidates at the beginning of the calls, that's how we get paid. That's how I
Yeah,
feed my 6-year-old.
100%.
how I keep my lights on and the revenue coming in. So it's also a lot about our reputation as an agency, how Amy's saying she has to keep butts in seats to keep maintaining her salary.
Yeah.
I have to be able to keep making placements for my clients to keep using me as a recruiter. They can go off and use other recruiters, other agencies.
Sure.
I want them to want to work with me and work with me the most. So I have to still produce in order to retain my clients. And also, as an agency recruiter, we're going out and doing business development to get new clients while we're recruiting for the ones we have.
Yeah.
It's not a one path track.
Right.
No, there's so many different
It's a lot of
facets of what we're
variables.
doing.
And we haven't even touched on RPOs. So then you have this
Mm.
other model, which is where you have typically contract recruiters. And that could be just like, I hired one contractor to come in for a 6-month, peak season, and I'm going to pay him $50 an hour or whatever it might be. Or you have entire models around that. Like a lot of the big agencies will have 100 recruiters over at HP or IBM or something, and they're on an hourly rate. And so they're there, making, you have to clock your little hours, fill out your little time card. I've done that a couple times in my career. And so you're paid hourly. But again, the common thread across all three of these kinds of recruiters is we are paid for making placements. So whether that's a portion of the fee or percentage of the salary like Lauren, whether that's I had to meet and exceed a particular goal, or I was here hourly for a period of time, if I'm not making placements, I'm not going to be long for this job. That's so important. And can we talk about what those offers look like? Because this is another tricky thing. A lot of job seekers are under the impression, or even not job seekers, just like general non-recruiter folks, are under the impression that we somehow benefit by lowballing you. That there is somehow some secret, like deep in the pockets of the trench coat payoff in a dark alley if I didn't spend all the company's money on your offer. Has anyone ever been the recipient of that? Because not me. Anyone ever found a benefit in any way, shape, or form to lowballing an offer?
No,
Agency?
when my
Tell
candidates
them.
give me a low number, they give me a low number, I'm like, that's the low end of the range. Are you sure you want to ask for that? That's literally the first thing that comes out of my mouth. That's the low end of the range for this role. Are you sure that's where you want me to submit you?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to give you the keys to the kingdom. I'm going to be very straightforward.
Sure.
I do represent my client just as much as my candidate.
100%.
So when my candidate comes back to me with the low number, I say specifically, okay, Amy, I'm happy to submit you at 135, but I would like for you to know that is the lower end of the range for this role.
Yep.
And I will be
Yep.
submitting other
Yep.
candidates at a higher number. Would you like me to still submit you at 135? That is literally word for word how I would say it to you if you were my candidate on this call. And 9 times out of 10, guess what? You say, actually, maybe we should go for
You damn
150
right.
or whatever the next bump that
You
they're
damn
thinking.
right.
Sometimes I get candidates who are like, you know what, Lauren, I don't have anything else in place. Submit me at 135. I think that would make me more attractive. But I've given them the choice, one,
I get that.
and then I can coach after that. I can coach to why we should actually ask for more and why that would make you seem like a better candidate. But I digress.
I get it. And there's a comment about folks, worrying about maybe overpricing themselves or whatever. And this is where I think people like Lauren and myself and other recruiters who really do take this seriously and are really passionate about this incredible industry and work that we are privileged to wake up and do every day. I'm not going to make a bad offer. I'm just not going to do it. And I've been in those situations where, especially the group I'm with most recently, where we're hiring from a lot of very small companies. We're hiring from, mom and pop shops sometimes. And, people be like, well, I really need to make at least this. And I'm like, I'm about to blow your mind because guess what? Because this is what the role is scoped at for us. The value of the position is this number. Just because your number's down here, the role is valued here, that's what I'm getting you. Now, if you're valued up here, then this isn't the role for you, and that's okay. And we can have that conversation and figure out, the right way to move forward, if at all. Maybe we look at different roles, different companies, whatever. But the idea that recruiters are somehow compensated or benefit from making bad offers, all I'm doing is borrowing trouble for tomorrow because you're not going to stay. And if I'm constantly backfilling people that I hired that don't stick, guess who looks bad? Me.
And who doesn't have a job anymore? Because we
That
don't
part.
complete our
So,
KPI.
not risking it. Now, there's a whole other discussion we'll talk about another time around contracting and bill rates. We will not get into that here because that's a messier conversation. But for the most part, particularly the work that Lauren and I do, I promise you it is in our best interest to get you a fair offer that everybody is happy with. Hiring manager, you, me, finance, everybody.
100%. And to this comment's point, you don't have to tell them what you made in your last
Oh,
role.
no.
Please do
No,
not
don't do it.
ever tell
Don't do it.
someone the dollar amount you made in your last role.
Nope.
Don't say that. If they ask you that, Amy, how do you respond?
I'd rather focus on my expectations. What can you tell me about the expected range for this role?
And then you shut up. Okay, y'all, if you learned lesson number 2 from the show, I know we talk about a lot of stuff, but lesson number 2, there is power in silence. Power in silence,
Absolutely.
especially in an interview process. Do
Mhm.
not feel like you are so uncomfortable you have to fill the void you just lost. You just lost. Don't fill the void. Don't do it. Make them speak first. I don't care if you feel uncomfortable sitting here. Go back and watch the episode with April Little from 2 weeks ago where we talked about being uncomfortable is
Yep.
a superpower.
Yep.
Be uncomfortable and
I love that.
shut up.
I love that. Honestly, Lauren, this is no shit. I am so probably unhealthily passionate about this. I wrote salary FAQs available on my website, recruitinginyogamapants.com, for free, no strings attached, available to literally anyone with an internet connection. And I wrote you the script on how to deal with these questions because it is that important and ain't nobody going to take care of you as much as you are going to take care of you. I think there are great recruiters out there like us. I think we're pretty good at this. And we will have your best interest at heart, but I also understand that's not always going to be the norm or your personal experience out in the job search. So go get your lessons, go get your support, go sit in that uncomfortableness and get comfortable with it and know that we are sitting here as your recruiting aunties holding your hand while you're going through it.
And I think we just like transitioned perfectly into the last topic of the show. And that's that tough love is the best love.
Yes.
Because we all need some tough love from time to time. And hopefully, if you get it from Amy or I, you're gonna laugh along the way.
We hope.
Amy, what do you think about tough love? And let's talk about it in terms of candidates and hiring managers.
My boss gave me a really cool compliment just recently. It was like maybe a week ago. And I was like, damn, I love her. I'll work for her forever. She's just great. But she told me that she appreciates my approach because I tend to take this like iron fist velvet glove approach, right? And the way she worded it was so much better. And it was something to like, you bring this playful, like you laugh about it and you make it, fun and funny and engaging, but you really you hammer home the point. You get like, actually, no, we're not going to do that because that breaks about 17 EEOC laws and we're not here for violations, are we? Ha ha. And I just kind of have that approach with my hiring leaders and my candidates. And it works, right? I'm not saying everybody should go out and be Amy Miller, but I mean, find the method, the communication style that works for you. But I think also we have to recognize that there is a difference between nice and kind. Nice gets on LinkedIn and tells you, oh, you dodged a bullet. Hang in there. Your opportunity's right around the corner. And kind says, let's look at some of this data. Let's have a hard look at ourselves, our outputs, our messaging, our approach, and let's see what we can fix. Let's see how we can actually change our behaviors, our whatever we're doing to actually get some, traction. That's kind. Kind sometimes doesn't feel good, but it's what you need. And that's the same as tough love for me. Like, I'm not out here trying to hurt people's feelings or make people cry, but I refuse to play the toxic positivity game. It does not benefit anyone, and I don't need any more dopamine. I got dogs. I'm good.
And it doesn't get you anywhere. When I
No.
talk to candidates, I do every now and then I'll drop a link and I'll say, okay, you can book with me for 30 minutes or an hour or whatever. Every now and then I will do that, maybe like once every other
Mhm.
month. And I always get somebody who
Absolutely.
books with me and they book with me and they're like, nobody's given me this feedback and I've met with 6
I know.
recruiters. And why wouldn't
I
somebody
know.
just tell me that I needed to change 4 things on my resume and update this to, and I'm like, because nobody wants to hurt your feelings. And
Exactly,
because a
because they're
lot of
nice.
recruiters, well, also, let's be fair, and job seekers, y'all might not like to hear this one, but a lot of job seekers who don't want to hear what we have to say, who aren't the receptive ones. Let's be fair. There's some that are super receptive
Oh,
and
yeah.
there's some that are not. And when we get on the calls and we're honest with the ones who are not, I cannot tell you about this man who berated me for telling him that he was not a placeable client because I didn't recruit in his
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah.
I don't mean you're not a placeable client for
Yeah.
someone else, but not for me.
Yeah,
That's not what I
exactly.
do. But I was
Exactly.
belittled and
Mhm.
by somebody much older in their career who told me I obviously don't know what I'm doing because of how young I am, right? Belittled. And I'll be very straightforward with y'all. For like a week, I didn't give anybody any advice. I was like, screw
Yeah.
you. You want advice? Nope. I'm not
It takes
responding
it
to
out
that
of
to
you.
them. It's not worth
Yeah.
it. But
I do
no, go ahead.
There you go. Well, I was just gonna say, I do this a lot as well. I know we both do a lot of like pro bono stuff and get on the occasional coaching session calls, and I still do that when time permits. It's been a minute, but I do try to still carve out time for that at least a few times a month. And, so here I am, like, pouring out my blood, sweat, and tears and spending free time creating content, which makes me $0, by the way. The few bucks I make off ad revenue, I donate to an animal shelter. Like, I'm a terrible person, clearly. But I'm
The
pouring out
worst
all of
kind of
this,
person.
how dare I? I'm pouring all of this, like, kindness, not niceness, kindness, and trying to help people. And I've had so many of those job seekers be like, holy crap, like that, now that you've said it, like, that is such a weird, like, light bulb obvious moment that I can't believe I never saw. And so what's interesting is I get that, which is amazing, and that always warms my cold black recruiter heart when people benefit from what I share. But then I have people who are, like, in my DMs telling me I'm condescending. That means I talk down to people. So, whatever. Or am I just, like, giving you straight talk? Like, are you mad because I'm genuinely arrogant, or are you mad because I'm right and it makes you uncomfortable?
Literally. There's the song right now. It's like, were you blindsided or were you blind? And I think that's very similar to
Ooh.
what Amy is saying.
I'm just
You have
saying.
you have to want to help yourself. And to that point, I will say every now and then I take time. I do try to take time
Yeah.
to get back to some of the people who reach out to me who I can't really
100%.
help, but I
100%.
want you to be better, right? I'm not going to pull my screen up, but I had somebody message me last week and I'm going to read this to you all as an example, right? Of these are the kinds of DMs that Amy and I get. We
Yeah.
can't really do much for you, right? So this person messages me. I keep running across your profile on my LinkedIn feed. I want to reach out. I'm searching for my role. Cool. Okay, I get that. I'd love to discuss how I could be a good fit for a role you are recruiting for. They don't mention the role. Okay. So one, if I
Yeah.
have a role that you would be a good fit for, mention the role right away. Right, put it right there because I get my not my red flags. I get my come on, and immediately I'm
Yes.
super excited, and I'm like, ooh, okay. So
Yeah.
put in exactly what the role is. So they don't
Yeah.
say the role, but I'd love to discuss, right? And then they say, I'm seeking a remote role in these 3 fields. Okay, 2 out of the 3
It's
fields I don't
tough.
work in.
Yeah.
And it's very hard right now to find an agency recruiter who's doing a lot of remote recruiting.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all, companies
True.
don't need agencies for a ton of remote stuff right now. It's just true. They need people for like weird towns in Idaho. Like
Yeah.
that's what they're looking for me to go
Oh,
place
yeah.
right now. Okay. Or somebody who's willing to move to a weird town in Idaho. Do you know how hard it is to have those conversations?
Yes, yes, I do.
So I'm like, I don't know anything about this town, but let me convince you to move there. So they say all of these things. And then at the end of the message, they say, please take a look at my LinkedIn and reach out if you are interested in working with me. And there's so many things at the end of this 3-paragraph message that most of the time I would just move on with my day. But this was over the weekend, I think, and I made that tequila cocktail I told you all about. So I was feeling feisty.
You're
and wanted to
ready.
respond. But I also responded very politely, right? I'm like, I appreciate you want to reach out. I said I get 100 messages a day asking me to look at a LinkedIn and reach out. Like, that's just not physically possible for me. But I said, I don't think this is the best strategy, but I think you could do this. So I said what I think she should be doing instead of what she did. And then I finished it with, I wish you the best of luck. I really do. And
Absolutely.
this is where
Yeah.
you should turn. But it's not always going to be that way. I get 100 messages a day. Do you think I reply to 100 of them? I replied to one in the last week. That was like somebody that I didn't know that asked me for advice. It doesn't happen. And to Amy's point, a lot of what we do on LinkedIn is completely free. We don't get paid for it.
100%.
That's why Amy's like, I'm not going to spend as much time here. Y'all, we got jobs to do.
Yeah. It's like becoming an emotional, like, I feel like this week in particular, I've just been surrounded by emotional vampires. I'm like, I had a moment, Lauren, this morning where I was just like, I cannot do this anymore. I'm like done. And so to your point about like the messages and yeah, same hundreds of DMs every week that I don't, there's no context, there's no like direction. I don't know what to do. My advice, with all the love in the world, to folks who do want to message people like us, look at what we've offered. Look at our websites, look at our channels, look at our free content. I try to make my stuff easy to search, easy to find, no gatekeeping, no paywalls, nothing. Like, it is all out there for free because it is important to me to be the recruiter that I needed back in the 90s when I'm walking into Robert Half with my freaking Charlotte Russe polyester suit printed on cardstock resume paper, hoping they hire me as a receptionist. I did not know what I did not know, which is how I ended up in recruiting, by the way. But it is so important to me to level the playing field and educate job seekers. So please, please, please do us both a favor and go see if I've already answered your question on 17 different platforms in 104 different ways, and then ask. That's all I ask.
And that's a big reason why I like to do this show. I feel like in the past, because we're over a year into the show, this is the second season. I feel like we've had so many amazing people come on. We've covered so many incredible topics. I've literally given the keys to the kingdom of how I do things,
Over
how
and
I run
over.
my company, how I prospect, how I search for like, we've talked about it all. We've done it all. What do you need to be improved in your business? I probably brought somebody on the show who does it. And to me, it's a lot of valuable information that one will never go away. It's always going to be here. Hopefully, LinkedIn doesn't turn into like MySpace.
We'll
Where
see.
are my MySpace pictures? But y'all, sorry, I had to.
I mean,
Had to laugh one more
dang
time
it, Tom.
before the Okay, tag these things really quick. We got 3 minutes left in the show.
Love it.
And for how many of you watched, it's always shocking to me that not many of you enter for the giveaways. I don't know, maybe y'all just don't like free shit. I don't know.
I mean, come on. We got some good shit in the store, man. I got coffee cups, I got t-shirts, I got robot stuff. Come on now. Get some swag.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go check out the robot stuff. Okay, we're coming up on it used to be my favorite part of the show. Now it's my second favorite part of the show because we do High Five Friday. But we are going to do the Fun Friday fact. All right, Amy.
Love it. All right.
Tell us, what is your Fun Friday fact?
The 1918 Spanish flu, not properly named. The Spanish flu actually originated in my hometown of Fort Riley, Kansas. The first likely recorded case, was on March 11th. We just missed their anniversary, 1918, in the town where I grew up.
Okay, so why is it called the Spanish flu? Do you know?
I will have to find out and bring back a fun fact because I have no idea.
I'm like, what? How did it?
But yeah, it's known as the Spanish flu. And it was the big pandemic, right? In 1918, 1919, during World War I, and 500 million people died or whatever. It's crazy. But it actually first recorded case was in my hometown.
Well, if it was in 2018, it would have been the media spinning it so that we could have blamed someone else.
Well, when did we see that?
I have no idea what we're talking about. Sorry, y'all.
Crazy, right?
let's get into the giveaways. I'm
It's
gonna
our
give you guys
claim to fame.
one last chance to tag. All right, let's do the Sendoso giveaway first because we're gonna draw 2 people for that one. Also, if I did not pull your comment up today, I am sorry. LinkedIn and StreamYard, they don't always show me all of the comments. Like my mom commented on my show for like 6 weeks before I ever saw one comment show up. So I love you. Keep coming back. I promise eventually it will show up. And I do want to pull up all of your comments, but today with someone like Amy and how hard we were laughing, I just couldn't click on all of them. I'm sorry. I love you all. All right. Sendoso, let me share my screen. Are you ready? We had 11 entries. We are going to pick 2 people from this to be entered into the grand prize drawing. Erin Delaney. All right, and then let's draw again. I lost my mouse. Where'd my mouse go? Okay, draw again. There we go. It's going to be pick. Who's it gonna pick? Emo. Okay, so we got 2 winners for the Sendoso drawing. What's up, y'all? All right, now we're gonna do, and y'all come back on the 29th for the grand prize drawing for Sendoso, and then you still can enter next week for that one. So you still have another week if you were not selected today. And then we're gonna draw for Amy's. Remember, for the swag, you have to be in the US. If you're not in the US, you cannot win the swag. That is, it's like a not us thing. It's a them thing. It's a shipping thing. Blame the shippers. Don't blame us. Okay. Are you ready for the swag? 7 entries. Who's it going to be? I see Kendra. I see Aaron. I see Brittany. I see Steven. Willa twice. Brittany again. Steven again.
My friend
Willa. What's up, Willa? Okay. I don't think I've seen Willa on the show before. I'm so happy you are here and that you won that giveaway for the swag. And then the mentoring session. Now, I'm going to preface the mentoring session where if you win the mentoring session, okay, if you win this one, Amy is Amy and I am me. And know what you're getting before you get on this call. And be prepared to get
You
amazing
can give it away.
advice, but we're going to be direct. Well, not we. It's with Amy. But Amy's
You
going
can give it to someone else if you're not keen anymore after listening to me.
So if you don't want it, or if you can't handle the heat and you're not ready to go to the kitchen and cook with Amy, don't do it. Okay. Sorry. Had to just give you guys some
a little straight no chaser.
And who needs it? Ooh, chaser. Chaser. Never. Who's it gonna be? Brittany, Liz, Aaron, Elizabeth, Aaron, Olivia! Congratulations! You won a session with Amy. Awesome. I know Olivia. She's gonna really enjoy meeting you. Okay, cool. Y'all, that was the show. Amy, any last words for the people?
Thank you for having me. Tip your bartenders. I mean, honestly, y'all, I think the best thing you can do is just understand how recruiting actually works and really hone in on the recruiters who either work in your industry or have the authority to get you where you are trying to go. Everything else, my friends, it's just noise.
It's just noise, y'all. With that, it's the end of the show. If you didn't like it, don't come back. Bye.
Bye.